Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for joining. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Hello.
Very well.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's good to
Can you
hear
hear
your
me,
voice
please?
again. Yes, very well.
All right. Thank you. Wow. Oh my God. I don't know what's happening with the slide. Oops. What's happening? What's happening? Please, I'm coming. Okay, let me reshare. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you. Let me increase it. Okay, so the most important thing to know about project management is that different tools, techniques, and methodologies are used every single day. So just because you use this particular methodology for this particular project, that means it is the same thing you need to use for another project. No, you actually would be making use of different tools. There are different tools you'd be using while being a project manager, and different skills there, because there are sometimes you actually need to use more of your attention to details, problem solving skills, innovation skills, accountability skills, and all of that. So different softwares would also be used, like I said, Asana, Jira. You would know more of it as you continue with this course. And different methodologies too. We have two most important methodologies that are being used by project manager: waterfall and agile. Don't worry, you don't have to disturb yourself about that. You get to learn more of it in this course. So as a project manager, what drives you? One of the special drives of project manager is watching the project grow from start to finish. You start the project when it's not even meant to be called the project, and of course you start and you finish up the project, which is actually very much one of the things that drives you as a project manager, because you get to see it when you've not even achieved anything, and you get to start achieving and marking your to-do list, achieving your task till you close the project and you see that, yeah, alhamdulillah, project is successful, and all of that, which is good. So transferable project management skills. So like I said earlier, there are so many skills that you need as a project manager, great attention to details, problem solving skills, organization skills, leadership skills. You have to be able to lead a team, because if you don't have that inborn skills in you, then that would actually might not actually help you. So those are the skills, accountability skills, just name it. There are so many skills you need to have to be an effective project manager. So they might actually ask you a question in an interview. Tell me about a time when you have to juggle tasks at once. So that's when multitasking comes in. Just think about any task you've done and you've been able to maximize your leadership skills or your time management skills. So I'll share one of mine with you. I could vividly remember when I had to lead a team of 3. And of course, I had to ensure all of them were, I had to ensure that all of them were maximizing, all of them were, taking up their roles and responsibilities, and they were able to, ensure the success of the project. So what we had to do was, the project we had to embark on was, we had to help a client. We had to increase the sales of the organization by 30%. And we actually had a time frame. and how to lead the team to ensure, where they would get more clients from, how to follow up with clients and all of that. So it was actually quite a difficult task. But I actually just had to, tell them this and this and what you need to do, and this and this and what you need to achieve. And at the end of the day, even though we could not even get the 30%, but at least we were able to, get a certain number, which, was quite helpful to us. So whenever you go for an interview, just think about one of the leadership skills you've been able to exhibit, how you've led a team, what the result was, how you've been able to, lead a team and the task you guys embarked on was successful. And time management skills, how you're able to prioritize, because one of the things about time management is you need to be able to prioritize. You need to know that, okay, these are the ones that are actually very much important to me, and these are the ones that are less important. Okay, I can just come back to the less important task later. Let me just go with the most important task now. So the skills you use in your everyday life helps you, and those skills can help you become a successful project manager. So what are the skills? What are the skills you've used today? I'll tell you one of the skills you've been able to use today. One of the skills all of you here on this call has been able to use is prioritization skills. You prioritized watching Netflix or going for Owambe to attending this training. So of course, so one of the skills you've been able to use today is prioritization skills, which would also help you become an effective project manager. Why is this thing always hanging? Is it moving at all? Hello?
It is.
Not moving over here. Let me just share my screen. Not moving. Apologies for that. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
So let me. Okay, so what are the project management job categories and job roles? So if you're just starting out in your career, or you just want to break into the project management career and career path, you can actually, if you're just starting as an undergraduate, I would actually advise you to go for internship. Intern with different people, and you can just maximize LinkedIn. You can see a post of a project manager and you just like him or her and you want them to be your mentor. So just take up that courage. Send them a message and just tell them, hi. And don't just start with you want to be a project manager, you want to work under them. You have to build a relationship with them. You have to ensure they trust you enough to want to entrust their task with you. So you just have to tell them, how are you? You start off with that, how are you doing today? How is your job? Blah, 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 blah. Don't just go in and just tell them, I want to be a project manager, I want to intern in your company. No, it does not work that way. You have to build a relationship with the person. They need to trust you. And of course, if you are just starting out in your career as well, you can just look for different jobs on LinkedIn. You can just type, junior project manager, project administrator, project or program assistant, project or program coordinator, project support specialist. Maximize LinkedIn, maximize Jobberman, maximize Indeed, maximize Monster, maximize different job sites. Just go to the search button and keep trying out different keywords. And I'm very sure you'll see different job roles and you see their job description and just, go for it, shoot your shot. never can tell the shots that would, enter that would, lead to a good goal and everything like that. So always shoot your shots. So shoot your shots as an intern, shoot your shots by, just going for the role. Sometimes most people just see, 3 years experience and they're like, I don't want to apply. I would actually advise you, apply. You never can tell, just apply. You might be lucky. So just utilize the skills and, apply. So the next one, I'll be talking about the difference between a project manager, a program manager, and a portfolio manager. So in Google, all project managers are called program managers. So when you see a program manager in Google, just know that yes, they are project managers. But why are they program managers? They are program managers because they manage multiple projects simultaneously. They don't just work on one project, they work on different projects. So that's why they are called. Hello, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. So that's why they are called program managers. They work on multiple projects. So whenever you want to start working with any organization, just do a research. What are their project managers called? You might actually want to work in an healthcare or a construction firm, and they don't just call their project managers. So you need to know what are they called before you just say, okay, you want to apply and start working in the organization. So what is a portfolio? A portfolio is a collection of projects and programs across an entire organization. So we have project managers, program managers, and portfolio managers. Portfolio managers are responsible for a portfolio of projects or programs for one client. The difference between a program manager and a portfolio manager is that program manager manages multiple projects simultaneously. They don't just stay on one project, while a portfolio manager are responsible for portfolio of or program of one client, just one. And it is also possible to progress from being a project manager to a program manager and to a portfolio manager. So that's like when you're just starting out your career, just look for roles in project management, roles as a project manager, and from there, and if you are looking for roles in an organization like the IT firm, of course, you know that most of them don't just call project managers. Most of them just use program managers. So you actually have to look for program manager roles. You get or program manager assistant or program assistant, all of that. Just ensure you look for a keyword that would, that would ensure you get the available job roles in the organization. So you can move from being a project manager to a program manager and to a portfolio manager. Don't forget, a program manager manages multiple projects. That's why they are called program managers. And a portfolio manager is actually in charge of one client, just one client. They work with just one client. So common project management buzzwords. So there are different skills you need to imbibe in. Like when you say you want to be a good project manager, what are the skills you need? What are the skills you can actually include in your CV? I've spoken about problem solving skills, attention to details, meeting deadlines. You need to know, of course, time management is actually very, very important, and active listening. Effective communication is also very, very important because you need to communicate to your teammates, you need to communicate to your customers, you need to communicate with a lot of people. So great communication skills is important. Strong interpersonal skills. Multitasking, you need to be able to multitask because there would be a time where you have so many projects on your table, so many projects you have to work on, so many projects with different deadlines, and you have to ensure you prioritize and you choose the one with the earliest deadline, then you follow it up, and of course you finish up your tasks. So there are also some of the words you need to watch out for. Like you are, as a project manager, you have to be data driven. You have to be a team player. You have to be a self-starter. You have to actually have good organization skills. You have to have the ability to lead, great leadership skills. You need to be highly organized. You need to be able to lead others. Of course, as a project manager, you'll be leading a team. So you need to be able to lead them well. You need to have outstanding communication skills. You'll be communicating with different clients, different customers, and all of them. So you need to have great organization skills and, of course, communication skills. So I've listed some buzzwords here: strategic planning, risk assessment. As a project manager, you have to be willing to take risk. Anytime you're working on a project, you are taking a risk. You are not sure of its outcome, but you are working on ensuring it is successful. So that's a risk itself. And you meet so many risks. Sometimes maybe you're working on the efficiency of you're working on making an organization more efficient, or you're working on menus for a restaurant, or you're working on a project, or you're working on an event. So many risks can occur. Maybe during the day of the event, the DJ came late, or the food vendor were caught up in traffic, or many things can happen. So you actually just have to think of, you have to be a fast thinker. You have to think of plan B. What can I do if this occurs? What can I do if this occurs? So you have to be able to take calculated risk management, managing client expectations. You have to know, what does your client want? What do they want to achieve? You have to know that, because you're actually assigned, you actually just have to, know their expectations, the requirement of the client, and all of that. And managing relationship with stakeholders. Your stakeholders are the leaders in the organization. They are the ones that are very much affected with the outcome, the successful outcome of the project. So you have to talk to them and communicate with them at every stage of your project. You have to carry them along with it. So you also have to be an active listener. You have to listen to your teammates, you have to listen to your stakeholders, you have to listen to your clients. So it is very much important that you do all of that. So I hope you all are taking notes. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Am I too fast?
You're not too fast.
Are you taking notes?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I'll be mentioning. Okay. So the next slide is actually not here, but I would like you guys to take notes and just follow me through. I'll be talking about the ways project managers add value to teams, and there are 3 key ways by which 3 most important skills a project manager has to have. One is prioritization skills. I think I've spoken about that. The second is delegation, and the third is effective communication. So as a project manager, these 3 are very, very important to you. One is prioritization. Should I come again? Prioritization, delegation, and effective communication. Have you guys taken it down? Hello?
Yes.
So when do
Hello,
you know when to
I
prioritize?
thought the material will be given to us now.
Yes, and we'll also be sending the recordings to you. But I also want you guys to take notes. There are some things you might not even, go over, and it's best to always, take notes in class. Do you understand?
Okay, please, can you repeat what you said now?
So, key ways by which project managers add value to their team. 1, prioritization, delegation, and effective communication.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Okay.
Is it the ways they can add value, or the skills, or are those the skills they have to have?
No, these are actually project manager has to actually add value to their teams. Like they must know how to add these values to their team. Like it's actually important they know how to add these 3 skills to their team. Do you understand?
So the values, are you saying the prioritization, the delegation, and effective communications are the ways they add value?
Yes,
Or
to their team.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. So any other question? So the very first one is prioritization. So project managers have to add value to their team and organization through effective prioritization. How do you prioritize? You must know the project that is most important to you. You cannot just say, okay, all projects are on the same scale. No, different projects with different timelines. So you have to learn how to prioritize. So you have to identify and break down large tasks into smaller groups so that your teammates would be able to, relate to it. So, and there would be a time where a project manager may not even know the tasks to prioritize. How do they go about it? Have a meeting with your teammates. That's why you have teammates. Talk to them about it. Okay, what and what do you think we can do? And gather information from them. You also need, I actually spoke about ensuring your stakeholders follow through on every phase of the project. So who are your stakeholders? I've spoken about that before. Your stakeholders are people that are interested and are affected by the project completion and success. So they are more like the leaders of the organization. They are like your sponsors. So you need to carry them along, because if they do not like what you are working on, then you might actually just be starting all over, and they're the one that will be bringing in the money to the table. So if they do not agree with it, then what's the essence of embarking on the project? So you have to carry them along in while you are working on the project. So prioritization is very, very much important. And when you prioritize important tasks, you set you and your team up for success completion of the project. So you need to learn prioritization is a very, very much important skill that you need to add to your team. The second one is delegation. When you talk about delegation, you need people with the right skill, the right knowledge, the right motivation. You don't just want somebody that is just doing the work because they're being forced to do it. You need people with the right knowledge, because they would actually add value to the success and completion of the project. So whenever you are thinking about delegating tasks to people, ensure you are delegating the tasks to the people with the right skill and the knowledge to plan the project. So the third one is effective communication. So as a project manager, you have to communicate to your teammates, you have to communicate to your clients, you have to communicate with your customers, you have to communicate with your stakeholders. And you also have to be very transparent, because you have to know, okay, these are the things I want to achieve, and these are how we want to go about it. And when you are upfront with your plans and ideas, then always make the information available to people. The people on your team, make the information available to them. And one of the most important things to do as well is, as a project manager, don't rely on a team member. Like, don't put all your effort in a team member. Just ensure everybody documents whatever they are doing, so that even if they call in sick, or they tell you that, okay, or they just send in their resignation letter, it does not negatively affect the project. Somebody else can just go through what they've done and, okay, let me just pick it up from here. So you actually just have to, take note of all of that as well. I think what happens when I do not scroll through. Okay, so ways project managers add value. These are also some of the ways project managers add value to project and impact organization. So the very first one is focusing on the customer. So the very first question you want to ask yourself is, who are your customers? Who are your customers? So your customers are the key elements to the success of any business. They are the key elements to the success of any business. Before you can talk about a business being successful, then of course, you actually just have to know who your customers are. Who are your customers? In project management, we refer customers to a person or an organization that defines the requirements of the project. So your customer determines the requirements of the project. They are the ones that set timelines, they are the ones that set budget, and they're the ones that actually set deadlines. So a very good example is of knowing your customer is Milo. Milo knows who their customers are. They know who their target market is. I don't know if any one of you knows who your customers are. Hello? Hello? Assalamualaikum.
Hi.
So, who are Milo customers? Can anybody just answer that?
Mostly
Supermarkets.
children.
Yeah?
Supermarket.
Children.
Supermarket. Okay, who buys from the supermarket?
And consumers, the final consumers.
Who are the final consumers?
We, human, we.
What did you say?
Children are the major.
Exactly.
Children.
Those young children, those are who Milo are targeting. That's when you would see an advertisement about Milo. Like you would see the way they actually advertise their products. They know their target market. So they know they're actually going for children. So that's why they use small children in their advertisement and all of that. So you need to focus on your customer. You need to know your customer. It is very, very much important to know your customer if you want to embark on this project. Who are you doing it for? Who are the end users of this project? Who would benefit from this project? Who are these projects for? Because if you are doing any project and of course you're not bothered about the profits, then what's the essence of even embarking on the project? So you actually have to, to successfully deliver on the project, you have to be able to meet.
Hello, someone.
Hello?
Someone.
Wa alaikum salam.
Please, may I suggest that if we are not, we should off my mic so that we enjoy this lecture.
Sorry, please kindly mute your mic. Let me see if I can mute everybody from here. Let me see if I can mute everybody from here. Okay. Okay. Are we fine now? I think we are. Can you all hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can.
All right. So you need to understand who your customers are. You need to be able to meet the requirement of your customers. You need to be able to meet their expectations. The customer is the center. They are the owner of, they are the ones that would actually define if the project is successful or not. So you have to satisfy them. So one of the questions you should ask the customer or the client is, what are they even trying to accomplish? Why are they even trying to embark on this project? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to solve? What value are they trying to add? So that's the first question you need to ask. Like, what is the problem? What's the problem you'd like us to solve? What's the problem you want us to solve for you? A typical example is when you want to solve a problem for a restaurant. Maybe a restaurant just tells you, they're not even having enough sales and they want to be more efficient and they like. So you need to ask them questions. What is happening? What do you want us to help us solve? What do you want us to help you solve? And they tell you, okay, they are not actually getting enough people. People are not even coming to their restaurant again and all of that. You need to know how to help them. You need to know how to help them become more efficient. A very typical example. Anyway, ignore me using more of restaurant examples because, I actually like food. So that's why I love using restaurant examples. So a very typical example I want us to look at for is, okay, noted, Mr. Pro. I can see that. So a very typical example is Marriott Hotel and Radisson Blu. In Ikeja, they're actually beside each other. So one of the reasons I actually prefer Marriott to Radisson Blu is because when you walk into Marriott, they actually treat you like a queen. When you sit down, They don't bring you a book to see all their menu. They just tell you to scan the barcode and you just see all the menu they have. And I was like, this innovation is quite nice. So of course, I would actually even choose going to Marriott than going to Radisson Blue, that they will still be giving me paper or something like that, So I would always love going to Marriott than going to Radisson Blue. That means Radisson Blue is losing customers. So Radisson Blue can now employ you as a project manager. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Why is it that people are now going to Marriott and they are not coming to Radisson Blue? So you need to have Radisson Blue that, what are you doing? What are you not doing enough? Like, what do you want us to help you with? And they tell you, we need you to help us improve our sales and efficiency. So we need more people to come in. And you just look out for your competitors. You look at what they are doing. What are they doing that Radisson Blue is not doing? Then maybe you can even just, go to Marriott and just, look at what they are doing. And you realize, they've actually optimized so many things. Radisson Blue is still behind. Radisson Blue is still using traditional ways of, serving people. And Marriott are already, thinking of, just Dubai way of, serving people. So you tell them, okay, this and this are the things we need to, work on. And those are the tasks you would embark on their behalf. So maybe after 3, and it has to have a timeline. Maybe you tell them in the next 3 months, okay, these are the tasks we would embark on to ensure that, you are more efficient. And at the end of these 3 months, we would actually conduct a survey to know if it worked, if the strategy worked or not. So in the next 3 months, you see that, of course, they've optimized some of their things, you've helped them, you knew about Marriott weakness, and you used it as Radisson Blue's strength. So, they actually have upper hand now than Marriott. And they tell you, okay, yeah, I did this and I did this, and the whole thing was successful and we now have more sales. That means you've successfully completed that project. That means you were able to solve your customer's problem. So you need to ask your customer different questions for you to know where you're coming in and how to solve their problems. So focusing on the customer is very, very much important, and it would actually lead to, the value of the value in the project. So the second aspect is building a great team. We need to know that a team is the project's biggest asset. If you have wrong team members, if you have team members that do not have the drive, I'm very sure the project will flop. So you need to have a good team members. You need to, have project team members that are actually motivated, that they have enough strength, that their weaknesses outweighs their strength outweighs their weaknesses, and that would actually lead to the successful completion of the project. So project managers add value to the project and enable that the team are successful, and they also make decisions by themselves. Like, you just have to guide them to know that, okay, whatever decisions you make, you can share your ideas with me, and I'll tell you if we would be using it or if we are going to be negating it. So skills and resources needed for the project must be considered to build a great team. So sometimes you might just say, okay, maybe your budget is 10,000, or let's just say your budget is 100,000 naira, and your team tells you, okay, we need 200,000 naira to execute this project. How do you go about it? So then, and that would actually be at the beginning of the project. Then you now talk, okay, why do we need 200,000 to embark on this project? What can we remove? What can we adjust? Then you go back to your stakeholders and tell them, okay, after which your team members are actually sure that it is that 200,000 naira that would, finish up the project. Not like you'll be going back to your stakeholders every time that, you want to increase your budget. So you actually just tell them, okay, this is the budget has to increase to 200,000 naira. This is, and you give them good reasons why they should see into why they should buy into your idea. So as a project manager, you should bring on people with the right skills. I've always said it. You need people with the right skills on your project. If you bring people that do not have the right skills, then your project would flop. So you need to know that, and every team members need to know that they are valued, that they are trusted, and they are appreciated. Those three things are very important. You have to ensure that your teammates are valued, they are trusted, and they are appreciated. Because if they do not feel appreciated doing whatever they are doing, it's going to flop because they do not have passion. They're just doing it because they know you pay them salary at the end of the day. Let's just do it and get it done with. So you have to ensure they are valued, they are trusted, and they are appreciated. So the next one is fostering relationship and communication. I think I need to be very fast because time is fast spent. So you need to be able to build relationship with people. You need to build good relationship with your clients. You need to build good relationship with your teammates, and you also need to build good relationships with your stakeholders. You need to communicate. You need to even talk to them outside the project. You don't want their personal lives to be affecting their professional job. So you need to ensure their personal life is okay for them to have, a stable professional life. So outside the team, you can just invite them for a drink or, for lunch, and just talk about, make them relax, make them feel like they are a part of the project. It's actually very, very much important. So when you talk about, you also have to build relationship. Yeah, that's when you talk about build strength. And controlling change. Change is very constant. Change can happen in your project at any time. So you should be ready for change. You need to be flexible on your project. You need to be able to adjust to your stakeholders' needs, because your stakeholders are actually like the leaders of the project. So you need to be able to adjust when they tell you, okay, we actually need to, change some things, or you go for a meeting this week, it's a different one, and they tell you they actually want slight changes. So you need to be able to, think and be flexible enough to change when it's necessary. And you need to be able to empower your team. You need to be able to empower your team with the right skills. You need to be able to empower your team with the right resources. You need to be able to empower your team with the right knowledge. And you need to have passionate teams that are actually willing to, find solutions to the problems. So it is actually very much important. So what are the core skills needed as a project manager? Core skills a project manager needs to imbibe, they are actually for enabling decision making. I'm very sure you actually have to just make different decisions on certain projects at certain times. So your decision making skills has to be top notch. Second one is communicating, of course, effective communication and escalating. Flexibility, you have to be flexible because changes can happen. You have to be prepared for risk and all of that. Strong organization skills is also very much important. So let's move to the project life cycle. So, Assalamu alaikum. I will all be listening. I hope you guys are beginning to.
Yes, we are.
All right. Am I too fast?
Okay. Yeah, you're on point, ma.
All right. And I hope you guys are taking notes.
Inshallah.
All right. So that's so good to know. So I'll be talking about the project life cycle. So there are 4 major phases of a project. So before you start and embark on a project, you have to actually just think about these 4 phases very well. And you have to know what these 4 phases entails before you start any project. The first one is initiating a plan. Before you even say you want to, start the project, you need to define your goals. You need to define your project goals, and you actually have to ensure that they are smart and they are clear enough. Your project goals has to be very smart and clear enough. And you actually have to determine the resources. What are the things you would need on the project? What's your budget? Who are the people you need to ensure the successful outcome of the project? All those details are very, very important, and you need to think about it ahead of time. You need to think about anything that would ensure the success of the project. You also need to get approval. When you draw out your project plan, and you draw out your project plan, what the goals you want to achieve. Of course, the leaders of your organization must tell you, okay, of course, this is actually a good project. This would add value to the organization, carry on with it. You actually have to, go to them and ensure they give you a go ahead before starting out on the project. So the second one is make a plan. How do you make a plan? You create a budget. What and what do you want on this budget list? I'll take you back to when I planned my sister's wedding. Actually, I had to create a budget. I think I had a budget of 3 million naira to be spent on the wedding. So what and what do I need to, do? The food, the drinks, the DJs, everything involved to make sure the project, the event will be successful has to be taken care of, and the cost incurred would have to be listed. So that was very much important. You needed to, just list all of them. You need to set a schedule. When do you actually have to achieve all the tasks? Maybe you want to call the person that would bring the food and the drinks to the venue. When do you want them to bring it? All of them has to be, taken into consideration. You need to establish your team. Who are the people that have the right skills to make this project successful? You need to think about them. Determine their roles and responsibilities. What do they need to do? You don't just take somebody because this person, if I have this person on my team, in fact, I'll be super proud. This person is very, very good. Blah, blah. Good at what? You need to know what are the roles and responsibilities you want to assign to the person. You need to know so that you can know how to follow up with the person. You need to plan for risk and change. Risk and change, they are very, very inevitable in every project. You need to be prepared about it. You need to be flexible with it. You need to establish communication. You should actually be a project manager that your team members are not scared to talk to. They can just walk into your office and be like, Mr. Abdullah, I actually have this idea and I think it's going to make the project more successful. Can I share it? And you're like, yeah, please share. And even if it does not make sense, don't discourage them by saying, what kind of idea is this one? Just tell them, wow, this is very nice. I like your idea. And even if you don't like it, you can just say, this idea would not work for this particular project, but we can actually just try it out next time. Don't just negate the whole idea that this project, why are you bringing this idea? You now have sense, you now have brain. Why are you bringing, don't just relegate people. Let them know that you can actually just, count on them. They can count on you for the project. So that is actually very much important as well. So execute and complete tasks. How do you execute the task? You need to manage the progress. You need to help your team remove any obstacles on the way. Maybe you know that if they use this particular person for this project, you can actually delay the project. Just tell them, it's better you use somebody that you can trust, somebody that can deliver early. So remove any obstacles that would be in their way. And you need to, of course, communication. We need to always emphasize that communication is very, very important. Communicate, always communicate, and make adjustments when necessary. Don't wait till the finish line before you say you want to make any adjustments. Make adjustments early. And the last one is after you've done everything, you're very satisfied with the success of the project, then you close the project. How do you close the project? You ensure all the tasks have been completed. Then you go to your client. Are you satisfied with this? And they tell you, yes, we're actually satisfied. Maybe, they tell you to improve their sales and you've been able to do that and they're very happy with it. And you're like, yeah. So reflect on lesson learned. What can you do better? Reflection is actually called retrospective in project management. A retrospective is a chance to note best practices and learn how to manage a project more effectively the next time. Retrospective. It is a chance to note best practices and learn how to manage a project.
We can't see what you are sharing.
You can't see it?
Yes. Maybe others are seeing it, but I'm not seeing it.
it.
I can't see it at my end yet.
All right, let me reshare.
Same here.
Same here.
Maybe you should.
Let me reshare it.
Maybe you should go in and give.
Can you see it now?
Yes,
Yes.
I can see it now.
Yes.
Okay, let me resume. So can you see it now?
Yes, you can see it.
All right, that's good. So the
Okay.
last one is closing the project. So you communicate results to your stakeholders. Okay, you are done with the project and this is the outcome. You tell your stakeholders how it went and or what you think, and you guys would hold another retrospective session. What you think you can do better next time, and of course how to improve yourself to ensure that the next one is actually very much, better than the previous one. So also you need to also celebrate completing the project. Whenever you complete any project, celebrate it. Yes, you deserve to celebrate it. You've achieved a great milestone. You've been able to, finish a project. Please celebrate. Go for lunch, go for dinner with your teammates, just celebrate it. And after celebrating, move on and ensure, whatever you've learned in the previous project, ensure you utilize it and, in the success of the remaining projects. So can you guys see my screen? Hello? Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. So introduction to project management methodology. I think earlier in the course, I spoke about two most important project management methodology. So we have the waterfall and the agile. The waterfall and the agile project management. So what is project management methodology? So project management methodology is a set of guiding principles and projects that actually helps you during a project life cycle. Whenever you want to embark on a project, something must guide you. You must know that, okay, what kind of project do I want to embark on? What is this type of project called? So you need to know before you just, think about embarking on such project. So we have the waterfall approach. Waterfall approach is called a linear approach. It's also called a linear approach. It is also called a traditional approach. When you think about waterfall approach, you think about tasks that have to be completed before another can begin. Project changes are expensive to implement once it's started, and the phases of the project are clearly defined. So whenever you think about waterfall approach, you think about the fact that you also have to finish a certain task before you start another one. A very typical example is when you want to build a house. You cannot just say you want to build a house and you've not even started building the house. You are going to get doors for the house. You are going to get, TVs and accessories for the house. You've not even started your foundation level. You are thinking about all of that. No. In waterfall approach is a step-to-step approach. So it's a step-to-step approach, and of course, an agile approach is actually, so sorry, I'm coming. So agile approach is actually is actually called a Scrum Master. It is, you need to be able to, you don't have to finish up a task before you continue another task. Is a very good example of an agile approach is WhatsApp. When WhatsApp started, WhatsApp did not start and immediately WhatsApp started, we actually had, video call and voice call. No, it took some time. They were able to upgrade. They were, it did not just, WhatsApp just started off as a chat messenger. Then they continue upskilling themselves, they continue updating it, and of course they started up with voice call and video call and all of that, and that's that's just it. So in any project you want to embark on, you need to know if you actually just have to finish up the task before going to another task, or if you can use the agile approach where you don't even have to finish up a task before you continue another one. You can do both you can manage both projects simultaneously. So these are the comparison. I think you should read it up. I think my time is up, so I need to be fast about it. So let me just take you through organization structure and culture. So every organization have its own structure, and every organization have its own culture. So a very good example, let me just give you an example of different organization structure. A very good example is a bank. A bank has a different structure. In a bank, you always have somebody, as a banker or as somebody working in a bank, you always have a direct supervisor that you have to report to before you can report to, before the direct supervisor can report to another supervisor. You cannot just say because you are actually an employee, you can just move into the CEO's office and tell him about your problems or your challenges or anything like that. You always have to report to your direct supervisor. So that means it's a different structure on its own. So different organizations, different structure. There are some organizations that you can just have a meeting, and when you're having a meeting, you can just talk to your CEO and tell him about the complaint and challenges you're having. So that's a different structure on its own. And any structure you're currently working with, any organization, the structure you're working with would actually affect your project. So you need to think about that as well. Whenever you want to embark on any project, think about the structure of the organization. So organization culture as well. Okay, so organization culture as well, you need to think about how it relates to one another. You need to think about you need to think about what people value, the dress code. A very typical example is in UBA. UBA uses red and black. That's their dress code. So that's their organization culture. If you don't like red, then I don't think you'll be able to work with UBA. So always know the organization's culture and the structure of wherever organization you want to work in. So thank you so much for listening, and yeah, so kindly ask me any questions you need to ask. Sam, I'm done with the class. So sorry it took a long time. So if you have any questions, kindly use the chat box, and of course, you can also raise up your hand or mute yourself to ask the questions. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Can you guys hear me? Do I not have any questions? Hello?
Okay. I have one question. I don't know. In some job advertisements now for project management or project manager roles now, I used to see some like Scrum Master or Agile. They use that methodology for the roles. Why is that so?
Okay, so most organizations now use this Agile approach. Most people love making changes whenever they are actually doing any project. They don't like using the waterfall approach. Waterfall approach takes time. You cannot even make any changes when you are doing it. So when I spoke about project changes are actually very expensive to implement. It's just like a very typical example of waterfall approach is when you've constructed a 3-story building and you now say you want to change it to a 4-story building. It's super impossible. And even if you want to change it, it's going to take you need to spend a lot of money. So it's actually very much it's just very much expensive for you to make the changes. So you just forgo that. So Agile approach, Agile, you can always make changes. In the comparison I listed here, you would see the difference between Agile, being an Agile project manager and a waterfall project manager. In Agile project manager, Scrum Master is actually one of the most important roles you would be you would have to undergo as a project manager, because you actually have to be able to think like they act primarily as a facilitator, removing any barriers between phases. They planning happen in shorter iterations. Like a typical example I made was, building a website or working on, an app. You can easily make changes in them, but when you are using a waterfall approach, it's not easy for you to make changes in them. So nowadays, people want a task that you can easily make changes in them and, just, add additional value to it and keep improving on it. So that's just it. So do we understand?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I think I have less time to go. How can a project manager manage difficult stakeholders? So you actually have to be patient with your stakeholders, because you need to know they are the sponsors of whatever project you're actually working on. So you need to be very, very patient. That's why as a project manager, you actually have to imbibe so many skills in you. You need to be able to communicate with your stakeholders. You need to be able to know that, okay, and if you actually have a trusted relationship, if you've been able to build relationship with your stakeholders, you would not actually have difficulties with them. You need to build a relationship beyond your workplace with them. So that would make them feel very comfortable to talk to you, and you guys would be able to understand each other. Once you understand your stakeholder, no stakeholder is difficult. You just have to understand their wants and needs, and you should be able to meet up with their requirements. Changes can happen. That's why as a project manager, you need to be flexible and you need to be ready for changes. So that's just it. Yeah, so I hope I've answered your question, Mr. Abdullahi.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
Project charter happen to be where all the program will be planned or mentioned by the sponsor. What if the sponsor posts problem? And I mean, if the sponsor is the one creating the problem, so how do we manage that?
Sorry, please, can you repeat the question? What if the sponsor, I heard what if the sponsor?
What if the sponsor is the one creating the problem for the entire team, including the manager? So how do we go about that?
I think one of the first things I'll tell you to do is understand why the stakeholder is creating the problem. I'm very sure stakeholders don't just create the problem because they are actually troublemakers. No, you need to be able to understand who your stakeholders are. What do they want? When you are able to understand the stakeholders, that's why I talked about building relationship with your stakeholders. You need to build a relationship beyond the project with them. Once you understand them, you're able to know that, okay, yes, this and this and this are what they want. And you need to be able to convince them that your idea would actually, generate the value you want it to generate, because they are the ones bringing out the money. So of course, if you're actually just talking about a project and it's not adding value to the organization, then of course it's no use. So when you spoke about, I think you mentioned project charter. So in a project charter, I'm very sure I think the second facilitator would be taking you on how to create a project charter and all what a project charter contains. So a project charter is actually talking about your project initiation phase, making a plan, executing the plan, and closing the project. Everything is actually embedded in a project charter. A project charter is just talking about everything about your project. So your stakeholders, of course, they have huge rights to talk about your project. So one thing I would actually advise is create a relationship, a trusting relationship with your stakeholders. Understand the wants, understand what they want, understand why they are actually, behaving the way they are behaving. So that would actually help you in, solving whatever challenges you have with them. Thank you. So do we have any other question? Hello, do you have any other question? I need to thank everybody for sticking through till the end of this class. I'm very sure most of us are tired already. And of course, the class has been lengthy. Okay, I've not responded to my question. Abdusala, this was your question. Okay, I can see it now. Thanks so much for that. Please, can you shed more light on classic and matrix structure and examples of organizations that use them? Okay, let me just go through the slide. Oh my God, where's the slide again? Let me just go through the slide. I don't know why my slide keeps hanging.
Um,
I want to take you guys to the slide, but it's hanging. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
can I come in? Hello.
Hello?
I, okay. Have you been able to sort it?
No. Let me stop sharing and reshare. I don't know. Maybe that would work.
Okay, like why she is actually trying to get a slide up. So I'm going to come in for her so as not to hold everyone times. So if you are I'm Sadiq Olam Lekon, like I introduced myself in the last class, and one of the project manager that will be taking you through the class.
Okay.
So if we are talking about classic and matrix structure, we are talking about the hierarchy of project management in an organization. You understand? So if you said, okay, she's getting there, okay, now she can take over.
No, don't worry. You can just continue.
Okay, so why you are talking about classic structure, it is like a top-down organization structure whereby you have maybe the chief executive officer, you have the chief financial officer. Like, let me put it this way. Oga, like we have boss and we have employee. So you receive an instruction from the boss or the leader of an organization to execute as an employee. You understand? Why matrix structure is a parallel structure. You have a chain of connection. Maybe you are working in a financial technology organization where you need the chief financial officer, to actually give instruction maybe to an audit officer or somebody in an organization, maybe to the junior level officer to execute a task. If that junior level officer should finish that task, the junior level officer will have to report to the audit officer, and the audit officer will have to report to the financial officer. You understand? So classic structure means top down, from boss or leader of an organization. Structure refers to a parallel, like you move from one person which is at the top of an organization to another person which is also at the top of an organization. Then it will be coming down. You understand? It will be moving from one person to another. It is not a direct command. You understand? So that is the difference between classic structure and matrix structure in an organization. And such example, let's say you are working in another example rather, let's say you are working in a big corporation, like a big firm, like all these top leading firm. You have classic structure. You have matrix structure, where the structure we have to pass through different phases. But let's say you are working in a startup where you have a team of 4, understand? That means that it will be maybe a chief executive officer is talking directly to somebody in the organization to execute a task. So you understand? Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Very clear.
So thank you, Brother Sadiq. So do we have any other question? So do we have any other question, or do we have any other comment, or do you have any other observation? Do you have any other points you want to add? You know, anything at all before we end this class?
Sorry, please, I have something to say.
All right.
So first of all, I want to really appreciate you, our facilitator, for taking us through the foundation of project management. It's really a very amazing one. I will learn, yeah, understand. So our participants, okay. So our participants, please, I really want to encourage us to join the WhatsApp group, as our statistics from the email we sent out shows a slow response in opening this thing. Like we have like up to 180 open the email, but only half or 1/4 of those who open the email click, you know, to join this thing. So please let's always look at our email, you understand, and as well join our WhatsApp for quick communication. So coming the next class, I will be taking the next class on project initiation. So I look forward to see you at the next class. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much, Brother Abdullah. So I think I saw what is Lean and Scrum. So I think Brother Abdullah would actually be explaining it that he would actually explain that in his next class. So you need to look forward to that. So he would be answering that question in his next class. So Mr. Abdulhakim, look out for the next class. Mr. Sadiq would be talking about that. Both of them are actually project management framework, and Mr. Sadiq could be talking about it in the next class. So thank you all for, you know, staying true to the end of the class. I would also like to know what have we learned so far. I think I need 2 to 3 people to just, you know, come up with one key thing they are taking out of this class today, and you know what they've learned from the class. So please, you know, anyone that would want to go first, you know, what are you taking out of the class today? What have you learned so far? You know, so please let me hear you guys out. Wa alaikum salam.
My name is Ibrahim Bashir.
Okay, sir.
I'm joining from Kano State.
Oh, nice to have you on the chat, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I really learned a lot from the this presentation, especially when you talk about the organizational structure, and then basic requirements of your project manager. There are something that I've been doing, though I have not undergone any official training, but I've been doing this planning stuff. But today, alhamdulillah, I've gotten the things how to organize myself, and then more on teamwork. And just like you said, like one should know his own limitation. Like as a team leader, you should not do everything yourself because you'll be overwhelmed. I just completed a project this week, and then throughout the 4 days, I've been active. So from yesterday to today, I've been so weak. So this point that you pointed out, that one should delegate some members to do the job, is very important. So thank you. I really appreciate your gesture. I hope to see more in the coming weeks.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulhakim. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for joining in all the way from Kano State. Thank you very much, sir. So thank you very much. So do we have any other person that wants to, talk about what they've learned? Okay, I can see Mr. Abdusalam's chat. Okay, thank you very much. So do we have any other person that also wants to comment about, what are the key things, what key things are you, taking out of the class today? What have you learned? And, Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I think we still have 33 participants on this call. So I need you guys, I need to know if I actually passed, some information across. So kindly tell us, what did you learn from the class? So what are you taking away? What's that key point you'd, always remember and utilize as to become an effective project manager, Hello. I think Mr. Sadiq wants to talk. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Hello. I think his network is bad. So I can see somebody join. Mr. Ibrahim joined from Niger State. Wow. Learned the beautiful advantage of Agile. I'm truly very grateful. Thank you so much for joining in. We learned different roles of project management. Thank you very much. So I still need 2 to 3 people to comment and tell us what you are taking away from this class.
Hello, please. Did you hear what
Hello.
I requested something earlier on, please.
Okay.
I said I joined this meeting very late due to technical issues I've been facing on my phone here. So I want to request, can we have, or I personally, can I have a copy of the slides in my mail?
Yes, we would actually be sharing the slides and the video recordings to you all. So yes, that would be shared to all participants.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much then.
Yes, thank you. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Nobody is talking. What's happening?
Walaikum salam. I'm Abdul Fattah. I'm joining you from Abuja.
Oh,
yeah, I've been on the call for a while, and I've really learned a lot, ranging from the roles of a project manager, the requisite skills of a project manager. Majorly, I think what I picked is the organization and time management skills that is required, as well as prioritization skills. And I think this is the main trouble with most project managers, not being able to identify how to prioritize well, probably doing the right thing, or the wrong thing at the right time. How do I put it? Misplacement of time and priorities, actually. And I think this will go a long way to assist aspiring project managers on delivering tasks, because the end line of project management is to satisfy the customers within the time frame you've given them, and at lower cost. Within the budget you must have communicated beforehand. So thank you so much for the session, and I'm also still looking forward to getting the slides as well as the recording for revision purposes.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Professor. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So do we have any sisters that want to, tell us what they're taking away? Or don't we have sisters on this call? Don't tell me all the sisters are going to.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
My name is Suleiman Yahya from Abuja.
Wow.
And what I take from this class is team building.
Okay.
The importance of team building, because every project, the success of every project relies on the team.
Yeah.
So what I learned from here is the building of your team, how to delegate tasks to your team, the importance of that, and not so that you don't overwhelm yourself as the project manager, and also how to get your team to be in good spirit to make sure that the project goes as planned and all that. So Jazakumullah khairan for this class, and I'm hoping to be in the next class.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for that. Really appreciate it. So I guess sisters are actually shy. So sisters, you can use the chat box if you are shy. Okay, we have a sister. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
From Ibadan.
Wow.
What I've learned that we should be accountability and time conscious in order to make our customers, and also to be good to them, and also to be able to manage time. I can learn that as well.
Thank you very much, sister. Walaikum salam. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking. Thank you for the comments. Really appreciate it. So do we have any other sister or any other brother that wants to make any other comment before we end the class?
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Okay, walaikum salam, sister. Please, what's your name and where are you joining from?
Okay, Rafia from Abeokuta.
Okay, sister Rafia.
Today, I was able to learn the project management methodologies, which have been seeming like a puzzle to the agile and the waterfall, and also the life cycle of a project, and the skills that we need to have as a project manager. I think that'll be all.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. Thanks for sharing what you've learned. Thank you so much. So do we have any other person that wants to share before we end the class? Do we have any other person? Thank you guys for sticking through to the end of the class. I really
check the message side. Check the message.
Okay. I can't see any message.
Can we see?
Hello?
I said, can we see ask questions?
Yes, you can.
Okay, fine. If you were to be in a kind of a project and then you're working with people, but then the task they give you, you might not be chance to be able to do it, or like you won't have the time, and you might not be able to like give the feedback or like tell them that I can't do this work. Or how do you go about it? Or how do you go about that kind of situation?
I think what I would advise is you delegate. That's why we spoke about the importance of delegating tasks to people. You know, if you know you cannot do it, you can just tell them that you would not be able to take up the task, but you have somebody else that would be able to with the right skills and knowledge to take up the task, and of course and do it perfectly well. Or you might not even, and if you have strict bosses and you don't even want to tell them about it, you can just talk to your friend that you also know has good organization skills, and of course talk to them and tell them that okay, I know you have these skills. I'd like you to help me out with this particular project. I currently have a lot of tasks on me right now, and I would not be able to take up this new task because of course every project has a timeline and you would not be able to meet up. So I think I'll just advise you need to be able to delegate. Delegation is actually very, very important. That's why I spoke about the three most important, things you need to look out for as a project manager. You need to be able to prioritize. You need to be able to delegate, and you need to be able to communicate. Communication is very, very important. So communication will actually help you in this aspect. You need to be able to communicate with these people, like tell them that okay, you actually have a lot of tasks on you right now, and you actually know somebody that can do it better. Maybe the person does not really have enough work on their table, and just delegate to people. That's what I would advise you to do. Always delegate. whatever organization you find yourself, it's better for you to just, say you cannot do it. And also learn to say no. There are so many times when you have so many texts on your table, so many things to do on your table, and you just say, okay, yes, you do it, and you don't follow through at the end of the day. So learn to say no. Like, you have enough tasks and you would like to finish clearing up, the task you have on your table before taking up another new project or new task. Because most employers now in Nigeria, they like, giving you enough work. They even pay you more. They pay you less than they use you. So you should be able to, say no at certain times for you to focus on other important tasks and, make sure your other tasks are successful. So dedication is the way I would advise you to go about that. So have I answered your question?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So do we have any other question? Any other addition to whatever I've been talking about and everything before we end the class for today? So we now have 23 participants. Thank you for sticking through to the end of the class. We really do appreciate it. So I'll end the class now, since we have no other comments, no other observation, and of course, no other addition to it. Thank you very much for taking our time to be here. The next class is next week, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please ensure you attend. Please keep your whole bed to be there, and I'm very sure you'll gain a lot from the class. So thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Have a very wonderful weekend. Enjoy your whole bed, enjoy everything, and of course, see you all next week. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So you can unmute yourself now.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I mean, Allah increasing knowledge and wisdom as well. Thank you. See you in the next class.